This is the most ridiculous jailbreak I've ever seen. If all these joints move in perfect unison, one can unleash a supersonic punch. But even this power wasn't enough to defeat Pickle. To overcome this, Katsumi decided to take his razor-sharp knife hand and add the weight of the human body's heaviest part, the skull. In doing so, he would forge the ultimate sharpest weapon. Yet a moment later, he was mocked by an elderly master, none other than Retsukaio, the pinnacle of Chinese Kung Fu. He thought the Japanese were known for their humility, but he never expected such humility to border on arrogance. A supersonic punch powered by a mere handful of jointsoi, and he actually dares to call it the epitome of invincibility. By that logic, wouldn't his own strength be god tier? With that, he split a raw egg with a light speed strike, a display that left both Katsumi and Retsukaio in awe. But to Retsukaio, this was merely a trivial trick. Katsumi was too focused on the physical number of jointsoi, whereas Retsu visualized his joints as being infinite. In this way, his speed would naturally far surpass Katsumi's. Taking this guidance to heart, Katsumi practiced alone in his room. However, he could only visualize his body in a few dozen segments. He couldn't grasp the infinite joints Retsu spoke of. For a moment, he began to doubt such an absurd concept. Suddenly, the egg before him sparked a new curiosity. An eggshell is hard for the sole purpose of protecting the fragile life within, just like a giraffe, which in order to reach the high leaves, was forced by necessity to stretch its neck. Like a bird's wings or a snake's venom, these are all forced evolutions driven by the will to survive. Compared to that, his current struggle seemed utterly insignificant. This realization, Katsumi's imagination transcended its limits. At the same time, his visualized joints multiplied before his very eyes. With his full-powered strike, even the egg was sliced clean open. Meanwhile, Lubu was hosting a banquet for Retsukaio. He found it hard to believe after hearing Retsu had taken out Katsumi with a single punch. After all, he could tell that young Katsumi possessed martial arts talent far beyond the ordinary. He believed that with the new techniques he just taught him, Katsumi must have mastered them already. He might even be miles ahead by now. Just as Retsukaio expected, after a grueling night of training, Katsumi had fully grasped the true essence of the art. He no longer viewed his fist as a mere weapon. Instead, he visualized his body's joints as infinite. Even he couldn't stop trembling at the thought of the light-speed punches this body could unleash. Seriously, how about that? Look at this. This man possesses hundreds of millions of joints. The moment all those joints are activated, his power reaches the impact level of a cannonball. Even the prehistoric Pickle couldn't withstand it. The sheer force sent him flying. Blood even splattered all over the audience. Just moments ago, with guidance from Kakukaio, Katsumi completed the final form of the Mach Punch. Soon, through Tokugawa's arrangements, he secured his chance to face Pickle. The instant he stepped into the arena, a powerful pressure from thousands of punches swept over him. Standing in the stands were tens of thousands of Shinshinkai members. Every single one of them was performing straight punch thrusts, cheering with all their might for their revered Grandmaster. The wind from punches in all directions buffeted Katsumi's body, as if infusing him with boundless strength. At the instructor's command, the sea of punches came to a halt, and in that same instant, Katsumi made his move. To everyone's surprise, Katsumi opened with a lethal 5-hit combo, and then he followed up with a brutal kick, straight to Pickle's crotch. The agony left Pickle doubled over and howling in pain. Zayn as Katsumi immediately followed up with another kick. This seamless combo left everyone in utter shock, but a second later, Pickle acted as if nothing had happened. Seems the physique of a primitive man truly lives up to the legend. Why, unexpectedly, after taking the full force of Pickle's kickles, Katsumi was still able to stand back up nonchalantly. At this moment, he couldn't help but feel grateful for the powerful body his parents gave him, and from that moment, the smile vanished from Pickle's face, replaced by an intense primal hunger for his prey. He then took a combat stance to face a formidable opponent, a sight that made Baki see the shadow of Yujiro Hanma. However, seeing as Katsumi remained completely unfazed, because he was only now about to unleash his ultimate move. As he unleashed a devastating Mach Punch, a massive shockwave suddenly erupted across the arena. Pickle buckled to his knees under the sheer power of the blow at the same time. This was the first time in his life he had ever felt such excruciating pain in his abdomen. He felt as if he had been struck by a Tyrannosaurus. Saying his supreme powerhouse, kneeling before Katsumi, crowd in the stands erupted in deafening cheers. But little did they know Katsumi suffered an even greater backlash. His left fist had completely shattered from the impact. You see, acceleration and wind resistance are proportional if the speed is too high, and breaks the sound barrier. It inevitably places a massive burden on the body. It is a strain that even metal aircraft struggle to endure, let alone a human body of flesh and blood. Though Katsumi was fully aware of the consequences, his primal desire to fight kept driving him forward. Then, he landed 2 more supersonic strikes on Pickle, truly knocking him to the ground this time. However, Katsumi's hands and right foot also shattered in the process. Just as everyone thought Katsumi had the victory in his grasp, Pickle, who was down on the ground, suddenly regained his smile. At the same time, he struck the same pose he used, defeat Retsukayo. This meant he was finally ready to finish off the enemy before him. Fortunately, Katsumi still had a hidden trump card up his sleeve. He activated every single joint in his body, channeling all of his power into his right hand. Turned out Katsumi applied the supersonic principle of a whip, lashing his own arm out like a supersonic whip. Though he successfully floored Pickle, his right hand was completely shattered as a result. Yet, Katsumi felt no regret, believing that it was all worth it. He began to bow to the crowd in gratitude, for it was their support that allowed him to become the man he is now. Just as everyone was celebrating Katsumi's apparent victory, the situation took another unexpected turn. Pickle reflexively rolled over it. Turned out he hadn't been defeated at all. He had simply fallen asleep right there on the ground. At that moment, the doctor revealed the truth. Pickle fell asleep because he felt there was no longer any need to attack Katsumi. Faced with an enemy who was no longer a threat, he only wanted to rest. After all, that is the most natural logic of the wild. While this reality was incredibly cruel for Katsumi, he felt deeply grateful when he saw the tears streaming from Pickle's eyes. At the very least, his opponent had recognized him as a worthy foe. His years of hard work had finally paid off. It was enough. Don't touch it.